All right, Christopher Hewlett, Com 115, Introductory Speech. Here's my audience, my father-in-law, my wife, and my daughter.
Hi.
All right, hello. Today I'm going to start with a quote that struck me as capturing the idea of my story, and that is, she was beautiful, but she was beautiful in the way a forest fire is beautiful. Something to be admired from a distance. I found that on wordsonimages.com. So today we're going to talk about some of my background and a story about the time I came home from work to an out-of-control wind-fueled wildfire raging through my backyard. So I was born in Farmington, New Mexico on April 7th, 1986. That time in my life was a crazy time as my mom and dad were getting divorced and my sister and I were getting set to go and live with my grandparents while the drama of their failed marriage was taken care of. As with most people, I made it through the rough patches and eventually ended up moving to Gunnison, Colorado with the man that would end up raising me like his own son, my stepdad Stu. Gunnison taught me many things about life, but would ultimately not satisfy my desire to live in a bigger city so I could experience life outside of the small town bubble. I ended up moving in with my father, sister, and grandmother in Twilla, Utah. While in Utah, I met a girl who ultimately would not be the girl for me. We had 2 kids, Riddick and Ella. I started a business doing handyman work, and we had a nice place to live outside of the city. Life at that time was interesting, to say the least. As life often does, a curveball was headed my way, a giant fiery curveball. This is the story of the time I came home from work to find an out-of-control wind-fueled wildfire raging through my backyard. It all started on a hot and very windy day in August 2016. I was on my way home from a job I had been working on and I got a panicked call from my kids' mother. It was one of the shortest, scariest calls I've ever received. All she said was, "Get home now, everything's on fire." As the phone hung up, I was left reeling. I looked in the direction of my home and I saw a massive black cloud of smoke rising in the sky. I dropped a gear in my Dodge Neon, and with the fear of losing everything, I raced home. As I skidded into the driveway, I saw the fields behind my house engulfed with 20-foot-tall flames. I pulled the e-brake, jumped out of my car, and ran to the hydrant in the backyard. Grabbing the hose, I pulled up on the hydrant, ready to become a one-man firefighting brigade. Nothing happened. Looking into the end of the hose, wondering where the water was, I couldn't understand what was happening. The hydrant always worked. Fear and adrenaline coursing through me, I did the only thing I could think of and ran into the backyard and started my own little fire dance. The grass in my yard was slowly burning its way towards the house, so without thought I kicked and smothered the flames, protecting my home. But I was not done yet. With the grass put out and the fire in the field moving past our property, I realized that the back of the chicken coop was on fire. I opened the door and set the birds free and set to trying to put out the coop. I kicked dirt and flames and quickly realized that that was not going to work as the flames would die down and then come right back. Running out of options, I grabbed the only water I had, the chicken's 5-gallon water container. I filled the watering plate with water and flung it against the flames over and over until I was able to eventually put the fire out. As I stood there, victorious, admiring my handiwork, a wildland brush fire truck finally pulled up and finished dousing the coop out for me, making sure it did not relight. The firefighters told me that the high winds had caused the power lines to arc, touching together, and the arc sent sparks down into the dry grass, thus killing the power and my well pump, and that was why my water wouldn't work. That ends my speech and my story. I hope you all enjoyed learning a little about me and enjoyed my story. Just remember, fire may be beautiful. She was beautiful, but she was beautiful in a way a forest fire is beautiful. Something to be admired from a distance. Unless your house and chicken coop is on fire, then throw your boots on and do a fire dance and put that out.